So the 4 seasons are ready, and now we just have to render out our final images and do some post work for them. And I'm gonna light these scenes using some HDRIs. So let's start with winter. Let's set up the lights. So the first step is deleting the V-Ray sun. Okay, so that's gone. And then we're gonna go to rendering environment and change that from V-Ray sky to V-Ray HDRI. And open your material editor and just drag and drop it in an empty slot. So make sure you set it to instance. And let's use an EXR image, and I'm gonna use this as 02/12/2012. Okay, so let's wait for it to load. It's quite a large HDRI. And then change the mapping type to spherical. Alright. And now, right click in your viewport. Or actually not right click, but press Alt+B to bring up viewport background dialog box and set it to use environment background. And now you can see your HDRI right there in the viewport. And let's just rotate it around a bit until we find a slightly more interesting spot. Okay, so maybe something like this. Okay, I think this is gonna work. And now we're gonna have to create a V-Ray dome light. So set that to dome and just create somewhere. I'm gonna lift it up a bit. And we're going to use the same V-Ray HDRI map here in the dome light texture box right here. So drag and drop, make an instance, set the resolution to 2048 or maximum to get maximum detail, and set the multiplier to 1 for now. Right, so let's hide everything that's not selected and see how it looks. As you can see, it's quite dark at the moment. And I also want to bring up the contrast of the map a bit. Okay, so to do that, you can lower the gamma here in the V-Ray HDRI parameters. Let's try 0.7. Okay, and it's very dark. So the first thing to do is unhide your V-Ray physical camera. And adjust the exposure to something like for an early morning or late evening. So let's say that's f number 8 and shutter speed maybe 1/10 of a second. Okay, so that's fine. And now we're gonna have to bring up the multiplier for the HDRI map. So let's try to set the render multiplier at maybe 5. See how that looks a bit better. I want to make it a bit brighter still, so let's try 10. Okay, something like this. If you switch to your alpha channel, you're gonna notice that the V-Ray dome light is filling it all with white color. And to fix that, you have to set your dome light to invisible. Okay, and now it doesn't affect the alpha channel at all. So that's good. Let's unhide all and see how it looks in the scene. Since our scene is going to be pretty dark, I think it's a nice idea to add some lights to the interior of the house. So right now it looks kind of boring, and all this blue could use some yellow to counterbalance it. I think the yellows will look nice there. So let's select our house and let's add some lights to it. Okay. So I'm going to select my furniture and my house. And the light setup for the house will be very simple. Okay, so the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my active shade so I can see the preview in real time. I find it's a bit easier to adjust the lights if you see what's going on as you adjust them. So make sure you set your V-Ray RT as your active shade renderer. Okay, and launch that active shade. So let's wait for it to show some image, and it should be appearing anytime now. Okay, here we go. And let's try to light the house interior. So I'm going to freeze my furniture and my house so I don't accidentally move anything. I'm going to start by adding some large V-Ray sphere lights with yellow color. Okay, and maybe let's start with this area here. And move it up somewhere near the ceiling. And turn off those annoying warning messages. And let's bring up the multiplier until we can see some effects. Okay, maybe more. Right. Maybe let's move it over here so it casts some light in the next room as well. And I'm gonna try it at 100. Okay, great. So now let's add some lights inside these pendants above the dining table. And let's make them more saturated, more yellow. And I'm just gonna make some instances here. Okay, so the bulbs would probably be over there. Let's check how it looks. And let's make them much stronger. Sorry. Wrong box. Okay, that's better. Maybe a bit too saturated. Right. Okay, that's nice. Now let's add some light to the large living room. Again, I'm gonna use a basic V-Ray sphere light. Maybe slightly whiter color here. And let's add a light somewhere in this region. Not bad, maybe a bit strong. Okay, let's try it at 50. Okay, some lights here next to the bed. Move them to the correct height. And let's make them stronger. Maybe 200 or so. Okay, let's try 300. And finally, let's light the last room. I'm just gonna copy my light from over here to somewhere over here. And let's make it more yellow. And a bit stronger. Okay, so let's close that active shade and try the regular V-Ray renderer. Get a better preview. Okay, wrong viewport. Let's change that to camera view. And try again. It's a thing, the colors could be a bit more saturated for the lights. And these three pendants could be moved a bit downwards. And let's try again. And I think that's a bit better. Right, so let's unhide all. And check how it looks in our scene. The other scenes are lit pretty much the same way, they just use different HDRIs and don't have the interior lights. Right, looks like the winter image is done, and let's proceed